You've seen the other day in the Hindu a report that has come out on how the official negotiating team had put on record its objections to the manner in which parallel deal making was being done by the PMO with the government of France. The net result of these sort of things in this contradictory process is that India has been deprived of a French sovereign guarantee. And any dispute over the question of delays in the contract being fulfilled or in any other lapses of the contract, that would now have to go through international arbitration, which will be much more expensive and costly. So apart from the losses already suffered in this change of the initial contract, change of the initial deal, depriving Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, favoring the crony capitalist friend of our Prime Minister, the Reliance Defence, all these things now increasingly evidence is coming. We are of the opinion, we reiterate, the next 3 days will be last 3 days of the Parliament before the next general elections, most likely. In these 3 days, the Parliament must constitute the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and that will have to, in a time-bound fashion, give its report, pin down the guilty, and on that basis, action should be taken. The fact that Modi government is so obdurately refusing to constitute the JPC, in our opinion, is in itself an admission of guilt by the Prime Minister and the government that they are deeply involved in this scam. As far as the conditions of the people are concerned, we've noticed that the farmers, their conditions continue to deteriorate further. The youth, the unemployment figures, now every day new data is coming out which is not being officially released by Mr. Modi. And this data manipulation of the statistics that is being done in order to show the economy in a great high spirits in the run-up to the election is actually concealing the reality that the misery of the people is mounting by the day. So unemployment, the latest data and the figures we have given, and we have decided that our party, along with all the other youth organizations, will sharply in the days to come focus on the issue of unemployment, like we had taken the lead to focus on the issue of the agrarian distress and the farmers' distress suicides. The Politburo expresses dismay at the fact that the Congress state government of Madhya Pradesh invoked the NSA and arrested, now I think it's 5 people, under allegations of cow slaughter or slaughter is the word that they've used. We think the NSA is being grossly misused in this direction. We want its revocation in this instance. A Congress-led government using NSA that was brought in after the 26/11 terrorist attack as an anti-national, as a legislation empowering the law and order machinery to act against anti-national terrorists. That is being invoked on these charges, for which in our current statute books sufficient laws already exist. Invoking of the NSA is clearly indicative of the fact that some sort of an appeasement to the communal forces is being undertaken. And this is something which we strongly disapprove, and we want this NSA to be withdrawn. Finally, on the attacks on education as a whole, the sharpening of communal transformation of our scientific democratic education system, syllabi, structure, that which is being done with a vengeance very vigorously by this Modi government. In protest against that, on February 19th in New Delhi, a large number of teachers' organizations, student organizations, and the university and college employees, school employees organizations, They've all come together to organize a joint protest. The CPIM extends its full support to this action. And through this, in the coming days, in the run-up to the election, the people's struggles will be intensified, as we've always maintained. First, defeat the BJP government. The alternative secular government that must be put in place at the center must change the policy direction, which is people-oriented. And for that, the popular pressure will build up, and that is what the CPIM will focus on.